You know how all these celebrities, Mr. Beast, The Rock, Kylie Jenner, every single one of these celebrities have found a way to add value to that end consumer and stand out in a crowded market. If you want to know exactly how to stand out, how to launch a product that's going to separate itself on the shelves, and you don't have to be a celebrity, in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to make that a reality. My name is Michael Alfaro. I'm a serial entrepreneur building companies for the last 20 years across multiple segments and sectors, from the gym sector, scaling up to 15 gyms worldwide, to then pivoting and launching a digital streaming company in the tech space, and now in the consumer packaged goods space, helping brands launch innovative functional foods in market, where these companies have done over $50 million in revenue, and we're just getting started. Why standing out matters in CPG? Well, let me tell you why. How many products are actually launched on a monthly, daily basis that you hear from either your top brands like The Rock launching Terramana, Mr. Beast launching Feastables, or all these cosmetic brands launched by so many of the top celebrities in the world, and yet they all become billionaires? Isn't it crazy, the power of consumer packaged goods? Imagine trying to compete in a super crowded shelf. You are either trying to get to the same consumer, or you're trying to either garner some attention that gets them to buy your product versus another. So standing out in this sector is pretty hard. Number two is understanding your target audience. Do you know how important it is to actually understand that your consumer, the person that is going to be pulling out their hard-earned money, finds true value in the product or service that you're creating? Yet many don't even take a second to think about the impact they're making on that person's life. So imagine if you did all the things you had to do, from surveys to focus groups to actually getting some minimal viable products into those consumers' hands, getting feedback, understanding what all those pain points are, and removing all that friction. Then trying to connect an emotional point between the product and the consumer and how that relates. So for example, the beauty campaign that Dove did, or RX Bar, how they used minimal packaging, just listing the actual ingredients right away. Those things dramatically increased their ability to scale their brand and appeal to the end consumer, adding true value in a very quick second. So honestly, you have to understand your consumer, the value you're bringing, and know them better than they know themselves. Number three, building a strong brand identity. People want to connect to the brand's why. Why are they doing what they're doing? You know who actually did it very well? Patagonia understands the importance of the end consumer, their service. Their mission, environmentally friendly type initiatives, is what is behind that brand. It's in how they create products. It's in the messaging. It's in the colors and the packaging of the materials, that everything they do, every touch point, that goes into the colors and the logos, all the way down to the emotion that you make that person feel from the brand's tone of voice. So build a very strong brand identity across every potential touch point that an end consumer will see, experience, or hear of. The importance of innovative product design. You have to find your unique value proposition, UVP. Big in the space is transparency on the ingredients being used, the sustainability aspect of the end product that's going to the consumer. Every single thing that you could think about when it comes to finding your unique value proposition is another component of how to actually create a product that's going to stand out in market, but that end consumer can find value in your product versus our competitor or another one that they have an endless supply and access to. This point right here is one that all of you can relate to, and it's leveraging social proof and user-generated content, UGC. How have you heard of the latest and greatest product? Or one that your friend told you, hey, have you heard about X? Oh yeah, I have an influencer that I follow, or a person that I've heard talk about it on Instagram or TikTok, etc. And now you're trying to understand what that product is because someone saw something that impacted their lives in a positive way. Also, UGC content, where you allow the people that are your true consumers to speak on behalf of your product. And if you do that well enough, there'll be a ripple effect in the market that will allow you to be seen, be heard, and grow your product-based brand. Number six, how to harness the power of community and true loyalty programs. Your brand means absolutely nothing if you don't have a group of people that you are relating to and providing value to on a daily basis. Take a look at Nike. When you say those names, those brands, you get a feeling. That feeling is associated with a community, and that community stands by each other's sides because they're all going after that same mission or vision. They buy the first shirt, it feels good. They buy the second shirt. It's extremely important that you don't just have a community, but that you actually engage with that community. You're bringing some sort of experience. Like, why do you think people that have gone to war, have gone to a hard workout together, they come out on the other side stronger and closer than they did when they went in? So if you have a brand that has a product that you want that community to engage engage with, and then there's other people engaging and experiencing that together, what that does for your brand is unbelievable. And then the other thing is find ways to create loyalty programs. Figure out ways where you're able to reward them, be able to give back to them for being a true fan, which will create a lifelong customer. Creative marketing and distribution strategies. So most brands, when you launch them or you're bringing a product to market, you truly got to understand where your end consumer is at. Gary Vee talks about this perfectly. He says that he goes wherever the attention is. He understands where attention moves, and he just tries to position himself or his brands or his products in front of that attention. So create a strategy that allows you to be in an omni-channel presence. For example, if you have a direct-to-consumer launched product or business, so you have an e-com, you launch a Shopify store, and you're like, okay, I need people to know that I exist. So how do you get in front of them? You got to get creative. Try to figure out if TikTok is the way to create some influencer-based or UGC content that's going to allow you to get one of your videos to explode. This one right here, I think, is overlooked by so many entrepreneurs, and it's actually using data to make key decisions and then constantly improve their product or service. And so if you think about that for a second, you've heard these terms come across like KPIs or CAC or LTV, or what do those things actually mean, right? Well, those are data metrics that brands, what is LTV? Lifetime value of a customer. What is CAC? The customer acquisition cost. How much did it cost you to acquire that customer? What are KPIs? They're key performance indicators. Understanding every single of these metrics that actually apply to your product-based business and then looking at them on a consistent basis will allow you to actually refine your business, or at least have the inputs, data-driven decisions in your business. So make sure that you actually have those KPIs. Make sure you even know what those KPIs should be. You got great AI tools like ChatGPT where you can go in there and say, hey, I have this cosmetic product-based brand that goes after the millennials, and I want to make sure that I understand what the KPIs should be for my e-commerce based brand that I'm running on Shopify. I'm trying to get to X amount of dollars in revenue, and what would you suggest that I set as KPIs? It's going to give you everything you need to know. You don't have to think about it. It's free and it's accessible. And then the second thing is, when you launch a product and market, put your ear to the ground, try to hear all of your consumers, ask them and listen to them objectively without your ego in place. What is it that they're finding to be a pro and a con with your product? And then make the necessary changes so that you can provide an increased value. So use data to drive your decisions, and don't be afraid to actually make improvements when it's already in market. Number 9, you have to have a long-term vision. Too many are caught up in today. In order to scale your brand, you gotta be thinking about, what does this thing look like 3, 5, 7, 10 years from today? And then you have to be able to look at strategic partnerships. Maybe you need to go international. Maybe you need to expand your reach or your network of where you're selling your product. What are the ups and the downs, and what are the difficulties of actually going international? Or maybe you just need to think about, how are you gonna continually innovate? Those are the things that are gonna keep your brand fresh. They're gonna allow you to keep creating strategic partnerships with amazing brands that are in your sector that might lift you up, get you exposure, where now you're getting new eyeballs from that other brand that spent X amount of years to build their awareness, their community, and their brand. And you're constantly looking at ways to innovate, whether it's your product or the experience that your end consumer has. So guys, you know that this right here is an unbelievable topic of how to engage with your community, how to launch a product in market, and truly I hope that this separated out what you can do to stand out in a crowded market in the CPG world. You need to know how to stand out in a crowded market. And so if you really have that entrepreneurial itch, watch my next video and you'll get the step-by-steps on how to make it happen.